it's pretty insane if they get it through.
Well then, let's see what mYi and Sandy are going to be most afraid of for Game Online to pick. At the moment, there's no real, I don't know, direct counters that they'd probably go for. At the moment, they're going to ban out a Broodmother instead. They don't have great heroes to deal with the Brood, and as far as heroes are concerned, Broodmother can completely take over a game if she is left alone inside the laning stage when you don't have the right amount of pressure, and Lion really doesn't offer that.
Yep, definitely. And, well, the second ban rotation is out. No Broodmother, okay. So they definitely don't want to see that crazy pushing power coming out of the Broodmama, as well as, like, those squishy supports, especially like a Lion. Like the small spiders and some nukes here and there, the spawn spider spell is pretty much enough to harass a Lion down. He won't stay in lane for very long if you actually have a Broodmother against you. The Lina now, I've been talking about her, they ban her because there could have been, in theory, a second burst hero coming out in a core role or as a 4 position. So banning that one out, I can totally understand it. The Storm Spirit, that also makes a lot of sense because he's one of those who could safely initiate on a Juggernaut when he got an Orchid, just silencing him, grabbing him with Vortex, killing him really fast before he can even say Omni Slash. So that's definitely something I can understand.
Yeah, another support that mYi and Sandy might consider picking up would be a Disruptor. Up against the IO and Juggernaut both, it's a pretty good pick, being able to glimpse back the IO or the IO partner and then just having an instant silence in a pretty defensive and not very greedy support. Instead, they're going to pick up an Axe at the moment, and well, since it's not banned, this should be going towards their offlane.
Yep, Axe in the offlane. Well, he has to work against Juggernaut IO, so I'm not really sure how strong that is gonna be unless the Juggernaut is going into the mid. Now with the Magnus is one of those heroes which you can pretty much lane either mid or offlane. Recently, I mean, at least the games I've watched, we saw some Magnus approaches in the offlane. I'm not a big fan of it because Magnus, except for the Skewer, there's not much you can do. And if he gets the disable before he gets the Skewer off, he doesn't offer too much HP, especially on lower level. Like the tiny combination, toss, Avalanche, a Hex, and an Earth Spike, and we should see a kill on him, unless, of course, he gets the Screw out. But let's see. At least we have some big RPs coming then mid-game for us.
This next pickup for Game Online makes me really like the Magnus pick. The Empower is going to get so much value this game. Buffing up both the PA and the Juggernaut, they're going to be able to farm incredibly fast, although it might not be enough to deal with the Slark. At the moment, that's going to be the pick for mYi and Sandy. The mid-game fighting ability of mYi and Sandy's lineup, all things considered, is pretty much through the roof. At the moment, Game Online, their lanes are pretty weak, I want to say, with Phantom Assassin presumably going mid, Magnus to the offlane, Juggernaut to the safe lane, only supported by an IO between them at the moment. They are potentially going to struggle a little bit to fight when that window comes out, once mYi and Sandy get like the Blink Dagger up on their Axe and maybe a Blink for Tiny.
Yep, definitely. I mean, the Phantom Assassin is also the good question. Like, if the Magnus is in the team, does he skip, for example, the Battle Fury? I mean, Battle Fury is obviously a nice regeneration tool for HP and mana, but more importantly is, the Cleave comes alongside with it. When it comes to damage value for the price, it's not the best item, obviously. So, question is, skip DBF, go for relying on the Magnus Empower and then go for another item directly, or he goes for it either way, and those both cleaves actually stack. So it's not even bad, but I don't think it's required unless he really wants it for a regeneration purpose.
Yeah, it's up to personal preference, I think. If he doesn't go for it, just go straight towards like the Helm BKB Basher or something along those lines. Disruptor and Dazzle going to be the last bans from either side, as both of them are presumably lacking a support. Let's see what's left. Witch Doctor is still available towards either side. Rubik's also there, but at the moment, most of the high tier supports have been banned. Earthshaker is actually available, but I'm not sure if either of these teams really want to pick him up, as they are running with 3 melee cores for both of them.
Yep. This Slark, I'm thinking about the Slark, how he can fit in, because I'm kind of afraid that the Slark might be one of those targets that land in a RP, because for a Phantom Assassin on a Slark, unless he gets really, really farmed and really fast, the crits will just get him down, which means he will be really fast forced into his ultimate. But of course, if he's stunned, there's not much to do. And if they even fight in the open, then the Juggernaut, for example, RP followed up by Omni Slash, Phantom Assassin, just one good crit, cleaved upon many targets. That's kind of insane what's coming out there. Then again, We have the Slark. If he gets the ultimate off, then he can pretty much reset the fight. Tiny should be tanky by then if we talk about big fights in mid game. The X as well, and now the Phoenix, if he stays a bit in the background, we have the Phoenix X as well. Healing, stunning, everybody has to go back. It's quite nice, but they have to execute it well.
Yeah, and their lanes are a little bit crowded, my insanity. Phoenix usually wants to be going towards the off lane, and maybe they're going to do that and throw the axe into the jungle. It's not the worst, but it is going to make their ability to rotate very limited and incompletely in the hands of the Lion, and usually he's not enough by himself. Game Online will pick up the Skywrath Mage as their last pick, and some amount of a soft counter to the Phoenix, especially if he is going to be played in that off lane.
Yeah. I mean, the Skywrath Mage, of course, Skywrath Mage is always nice early game. In laning, he's just pain in the butt. He can just unload all of his mana, plus 1-2 clarities, depending on what he buys for the team, into you, which drives you out of the lane unless you have Zals with you. Maybe the Wisp, of course, doing their work. It kind of depends where they put the Skywrath Mage at the moment. As for mid-game, I guess his ultimate is fine for RPs, 1 or 2 man RPs. He will do significant damage, but there's still more they need, so we have to see where this one is going. It can fit, but I can also see how the Skywrath Mage, for example, against the Slark, against the Axe, against Lion with the burst damage, and even the Avalanche toss combination is pretty much killing him within seconds.
Yeah, it's not a very safe game to be the Skywrath Mage. We'll have to see if Zeroji is going to keep his distance. I suppose we'll just get the formality out of the way as we are paused waiting for the Phoenix. I'll go ahead and introduce Game Online. Zeroji is going to be playing in that Skywrath Mage. Pelican on the Io. Magnus going to be going offlane by ZLNTZ. Phantom Assassin going to be played by Excalibur, presumably mid. And Juggernaut, last but not least, is going to be played by Roxanac.
Yep, and on the other side here, on the Dire side, we have the one who made it out of the fountain already. That's Gogi. Playing the Slark. We have the Phoenix played by Lizard, Mitch on the Axe, Milan is on the Tiny, and the last one is Real Toxie? Is that Real Toxie?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Real Toxie. But wait, who? So Mitch is actually a real stand-in, Cola is not in that team at the moment?
At the moment, I think their tag is just messed up. All of these players are on their official roster, with the exception being Real Toxie. And even Real Toxie has been playing with them, so I'm not exactly sure what the state of their lineup is at the moment.
Yeah, Mitch, Milan, Lizard, Cola, and Gogi. That's according to, this is the roster according to my sources, but, well, maybe something changed already. Serbian Dota is always in flux. Either way, guys, let's see what we got here. They are not heading towards anything. We don't have a smoke, no aggressive play. At the moment, it seems like everybody's just going to their lanes and see what's happening. The Magnus has one ward here, top. Yeah, it's a defensive ward. It doesn't block anything. It's just giving him some vision. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, at the moment, Game Online are just going to eat through all of these trees to give themselves easier access to the pulls, and maybe they can even pull off a double pull for Pelican. And stack up a lot of camps for Game Online to farm up, especially with the Phantom Assassin and Juggernaut once the Empower comes out. Magnus does have the ability to go for a skewer, but at the moment he doesn't have very good targets to skewer at his disposal. Slark is there, but he can just pounce down. It really doesn't bother him that much, and really doesn't look like they're going to be able to contest this top rune. At the moment, I would favor the level 1 of mYi Insanity pretty heavily over Game Online's. And, well, let's see. It looks like it's just going to be a bounty for bounty trade. Mulan sitting on the one up towards top, Juggernaut on the one in bottom.
Yeah, but this Skywrath Mage is already doing his work, just putting everything in. Milan, well, if he starts actually in the mid, then he's getting quite some damage already, because he has only the 2-share tangos. Sure, he's pretty close to that bottle, but we have to see where this one is going. Against Phantom Assassin, at some point, Phantom Assassin can pretty much, I don't know, spam that Tiny, and he will have problems with his HP, especially now that Io is backing him up. So there might be some Io punches, not that it hurts too much, but you get my point. For Tiny, that's a pretty awkward lane.
Yeah, it really is. It's not going to be a very easy one for Milan, although he does have the bottle, which is going to mitigate that somewhat now. For the most part, he is just going to be zoned out. Very low base armor, even though his IO punches with only 47 damage do start to add up towards top. Spike and pounce onto ZLNTZ. Looks like he's going to survive as Dire's Courier gets sniped by the Skywrath Mage. Zeroji trying to make it out. He might feed First Blood here, but even if he does, it's probably worth it. Milan does get First Blood, but that was his bottle sniped.
Well,
oh no, it wasn't his bottle.
Good. It is good because the bottle, I mean, the bottle was not in there, but the courier is of course still down, which means Milan has bad news. Then again, I don't know, those 2 minutes, getting the first plat gold, I'm not really sure if that was such a significant win. If he would have survived, yes, for sure, but he didn't, and, well, there's also the 2-minute rune to spawn. If he gets that, then he didn't even need that courier.
Yeah, in the end, it's still going to be a pretty even gold trade across the team, and it's going to benefit the side lanes more than anything. Game Online will be happy that their Jug, Sky, and Magnus get a little bit of extra gold. Speaking of the Jug, he's going to be called down towards bottom. Mitch gets a spin. It's not enough damage to kill off the Jug. He'll be able to back off and tango up.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm kind of surprised the Magnus is really that aggressive, but now we might see it. Yeah, there's the stun, but the Slark is not going for anything. Now he finally turns around. Of course it latches. He still has level 1 skewer, but there's the Hex. Now it's all the right clicks that matter, and I think the Magnus completely overestimated his own HP or underestimated the damages of his enemy. But bottom, look at this Jugger. It's really close for him again.
Yeah, Phoenix and Axe Lane has been able to play pretty aggressive. They're going to even cancel out his Salve, are they? No, the damage coming out from the Icarus dive is not enough to cancel that through, and no auto attacks were thrown. So he's going to be able to get that regen, but this doesn't bode well for the future. Up towards top, Lion and Io going to pick a man fight with each other as Pelican is going to drop his orbs. They get a slow onto Lion, chasing forward for real Toxies. The Tiny comes in from the sidelines. Milan going to get jumped, but that Tiny has a DD. He's going to punch Excalibur once. Phantom Assassin is going to get avalanched up as Milan goes for Pelican. Pops him once, now tosses up the Phantom Assassin into the air. Milan is going to go down as Io brings him to the grave. A lot of action in all of these lanes, pretty isolated with just dual versus solo heroes, but in the end that's going to favor Game Online with that skirmish at the very least.
Yeah, but it was too greedy by the Tiny. I mean, sure, as a Tiny Yori, yo man, I'm the Tiny. I got 70 base damage plus a DD, punching for 140, but well, it didn't do too much. And against the Wisp, that's, I don't know, he paid for it dearly. Lion couldn't help him, was completely out of mana, so that was a very unnecessary kill. But, well, Gamers Online, they are pretty happy about this one.
Yeah, the Stifling Dagger spam is going to start coming out as everybody goes back to their lanes. Lizard and Mitch are putting a lot of pressure onto this Juggernaut and really stopping him from farming. And in fact, the only lane that's farming well for Game Online is the mid, Phantom Assassin. So we'll just have to see how much work they're able to do with that. The Axe is almost at his Tranquil Boots. Up towards top, there's not much that the Magnus could do more than what he's already tried to accomplish. He's going to look to steal a last hit and will do so. That might be flagging the fact that he has some vision around the corner, and I'm not sure if that actually caught out that creep, but in the end it's going to be ZLNTZ stealing a decent chunk of gold.
Yep, and to be honest, at the moment, My Insanity, they just have a way better laning stage, because that Jugger is barely getting anything. He missed the CS now, the one that was under the tower, now he got the second one. Before he was on 6 CS, now he is on 8, but all of that is not very impressive, to be honest. The Axe is just driving him out, and the Skyrift Mage, he didn't have the effect I was thinking about, like this level 1 Arcane Ball that just didn't do too much. Now we have a rotation here. Milan maybe tossing Lizard in, tossing him directly on and diving out. That might happen, but well, it's at the moment just some bubbles flying on him. But yeah, there's the go on the Skyrift Mage. That's a 100% kill. Nothing Jugger could have done there. He's level 4, so yeah, way too low in level.
It does cost Milan quite a lot of time running away from the mid lane that Excalibur is farming up, but still worth it since they do secure the kill, and for the Tiny no less. He has the courier flying out, he's going to crow that on the bottle as Milan's actually sticking around a lot longer than I thought he would.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a good idea, not against the Jugger, because you need to call him and to stun him directly after. You need to perfectly execute it, otherwise he will get out by Blade Fury. So it's not really worth it to stick around. And Milan, I think the reason for this early rotation is simply because he knows eventually that Phantom Assassin will just outperform him in mid, so just sticking around for some denied experience is not really worth it. All he can do is spam Avalanche, then later the toss to get some CS. That's, I guess, the best thing you can do as a mid-tiny who's bottle growing.
They're going to go aggressive. Excalibur leaping forward with all of the IO orbs connecting. Milan's going to be dropped incredibly low, but with double TP support coming in, he's going to survive under his tower. But that does cost the team 200 gold for really not much spent by Game Online.
Yep, it was really just showing the potential, what could happen, the IO healing the PA, and then you will just follow through. Tiny only has pretty much that one stun he can use, and that's it. But at the moment he's using his Avalanche to even miss the CS there. I don't think really that's a good use of his mana. But let's see, there's a 6-minute rune, and we have to see what kind of runes are spawning, because they might open a window for some nice ganks here. Oh, there's a nice stun here by the line. It's, yes, the illusion is top, but the problem is, yeah, he wanted to go for that IO. Instead, he's gonna die.
Yeah, sealing the illusion rune is nice and all, but only if you can get out of there. The IO is going to be dropped very low by the dot coming out from Phoenix, but it's going to survive. It is only a level 4 Phoenix after all.
Oh, but
He's
bottom.
going to be able to make it. Tiny comes through with the avalanche. He doesn't have a toss at the ready, or he doesn't choose to use the toss. It ends up working out just the same as they're able to beat down the Skyrath Mage. 2-4 is going to be our kill score after the dust settles. It might not be over yet as the Slark is aggressed on up top, or maybe he's doing the aggressing, going strong into the Magnus, diving under tower with the ultimate. Goji's able to do this, going for the Magnus, cancels the salve, ring around the Rosies. One attack from his Shiv is going to be enough to secure Goji a kill.
Yeah, that's the problem. PTs versus Brown Boots, so he wins the ring around the Rosie fight. Also bottom, the Skyrath Mage falling victim to the Axe call, and then of course the tiny follow-up damage, simply because we have Tranquil Boots versus no boots. So gamers online at the moment, like, they're losing on each and every lane. The only good lane is really the mid, but I'm not really sure if that core Phantom Assassin with all the intention by the IO is, I don't know, what's pulling you out of this mess.
Yeah, at the moment, even though Phantom Assassin can do quite a bit, it doesn't seem like it's going to be enough, especially in a full 5-on-5 exchange. When they're just going for these supports as they drop for runes, that's all fine and good, but Excalibur's going to need a little bit more farm before he can really accomplish much. Game Online need more time, and we'll have to see if they can actually buy it. The Axe Blink Dagger coming out before mYi and Sandy is really going to make that hard, as Mitch is over halfway there. He's going to have that very shortly.
Yeah, and that Axe having a fast Blink Dagger, that will make the game even more solid for my Insanity. As I said, there is still all hope in the Phantom Assassin, and we have to see how the mid fights I don't know, unfold on us here. But when it comes to laning, my Insanity definitely doing a good job. Like, I'm kind of impressed how disciplined they are. But then again, also Gamers Online, they did quite some mistakes here, where they just overextended, or they just weren't fast enough in their passive play.
Yeah, they'll find a double damage rune up towards top, the IOL, and has that in his bottle now for a little bit of extra sustain for Excalibur. But in the meantime, all eyes on Milan and Mitch. They're continuing to sit down towards bottom and just be a menace. At a certain point, they could look for a dive on the Juggernaut if they can catch vision. But this is a lot of time utilized by the Tiny. He's only level 6 compared to the Phantom Assassin, who's picked up 7, even though she's sharing lane experience with the IO.
Yeah, and at the moment, I definitely like the awards by Gamers Online, because if you look at it, it's securing like the vision in mid that nobody rotates in there, and of course the vision
bottom into the Axe Call. They'll look for a couple of spins, they'll find a couple of spins, and a dunk down. The Juggernaut's going to be dropped. And, well, who needs Blink Dagger when you have a Tiny at your side? Milan's made these early roams work wonderfully, and now for the next time around, they won't need that toss. Mitch has his Blink.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that coming, but I didn't expect them to like instantly go, but they were so fast on that Jugger. Wow, okay. So I didn't even have my camera there. I thought, like, yeah, they're walking through the jungle, but Dota is faster than I expected today.
Well, alrighty then. We're going to have another pause. It seems that Lizard is having some sort of issue. At the moment, Lizard's just sitting in the trees. If he gets spotted, he's in a lot of trouble. The Phantom Assassin can very easily look for that dive with IO support.
What I'm curious about at the moment is where Phoenix is putting that second ward, because we're reaching the 9-minute mark. We have, in theory at least, a lineup that can kill Roshan if the Axe tanks it. Slark, Tiny, I'm not really sure, to be honest. Like, the Roshan for both, like, of course, unless the Phantom Assassin gets some lifesteal, for both teams it's not the easiest Roshan, but Gamers Online, they definitely have advantage just because they have healing ward and the IO. So in theory, if there's a big fight happening, Roshan might follow up. So I'm not really sure if my Insanity will focus on it. Then again, they're on the Dire side, and regardless of Ice Frog's little map change, it's the Dire side still has a tiny advantage there when it comes to Roshan.
Yeah, it's just easier to access. At the moment, Slark, left alone up towards top, decides to go for a Midas. Goji 1-0-1 is going to accelerate his farm that way, and although the Phantom Assassin is close behind, she hasn't invested her gold yet. The biggest issue is that Game Online haven't done well with this Juggernaut in particular. He has his Mask of Death, however, so with that Morbid Mask, he'll be able to farm woods pretty effectively, but mYi and Sandy do have the ability to just hunt him down. As we already saw down towards bottom, all they need is really one spin, and that's enough to get the kill if they can land the Avalanche toss to follow up.
Yeah, definitely, it's a nice combination, and oh, we have a go. I mean, looking at the crafts and everything, sure, like my Insanity at the moment, they have okay-ish lead, but this lead could just, I don't know, snap back until to the other side with just one fight. But at the moment, it really looks like the nukes and everything coming. Oh, but we have the PA in front, going for the axe of course. There's the Blink Dagger not coming out, and now they want to jump him, but the Blink at the same time away. Also the concussive shot disengaged, but look at the Omni Slash, and mYi is going down. This is just a level 1 Omni Slash, but it hurt so much. They still want to go for that axe. There is the slow. They have, of course, there's the Taunt, and there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, it is something to keep in mind. Game Online's heroes are very low when it comes to their CC, and their ability to cancel TPs is entirely in the mag and in Juggernaut's mini-stun, the Omni Slash. That is until Excalibur gets a Basher. The ultimate from the Phoenix is going to be forced out in mid, as Excalibur did drop Lizard low. That's nice and all, but only a slight victory for Game Online there. The bigger one is that tiny pick for the Juggernaut.
To be honest, what I don't like is the Magnus Arcane Boots at the moment, because he's not in lane or anywhere where he like needs that mana. Io could just, I don't know, dock on him and be good for a time. If he would have skipped those Arcane Boots, he would have had already like his Blink Dagger. But oh, what a toss here on that Magnus, and he's so close. Just one spin and he doesn't even need that spin, just that right click was enough to get the dunk. That was a beautiful combination here, mYi, and now they're gonna find the Juggernaut. He has no Omni Slash, no whatsoever. Of course, he can just play Fury out, but Taunt goes through this all, and there's the second dunk. Easy go, and I don't think that Skywrath Mage really wants to go against that axe, because Mitch, he goes for that challenge and he's getting tossed. You shall fight right now. Nice silence here, but if he gets on range, there is the dunk. This is number 3, and are there more coming? Nice relocate in here, and PA, well, he has to be careful. There's the toss and dunk. Number 4. Please make it 5, just for the beauty of it. But the problem is they're all out of mana. There's the Magnus completely missing his Skewer. Still, the Phoenix is coming in. Io might be going down. No, the damage over time. There it's happening. One punch by Mr. Rock Solid, and that's pretty much it. What a disastrous fight, 1 by 1. This was like at the supermarket in a row.
It really was. Right on the Axe's chopping block, just taking heads. Game Online, really, that was so awkward for them. Ultra kill from Mitch, so close to a Rampage too, if he just had a little bit more. Oh, no. I just had a huge lag spike. Not sure if that held over for you, but either way, we'll get back to this game. Still a big win for mYi and Sandy. 3-11 the kill score, and they really didn't need to involve their Slark and all of that. He's been happily farming away in the meantime.
Yep, I mean, the Slark, that's the good thing. Like, having him now on level 10, almost level 11, he's going for that Shadow Plate, which is an item that used to be very, very famous on Slark. Then someone came up with the Blink Dagger meta, and ever since there's like a 70-30 split in the community. Dagger is the 70, and well, the Shadow Plate not so famous anymore. But I think here in this game it might work out, because they have to force gamers online then even in buying dust or sentries and or gems. But as this game unfolds at the moment, especially with this disaster we just saw on the bottom lane, it's not really the timing to buy a gem, because you would lose it in any second here.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty scary item, especially for the Io and the Skywrath Mage. If Io's out stacking away from the PA, or if Zeroji gets caught out alone, they're going to be burst down so very quickly, especially this guy. With 0 base armor, 600 HP, he dies to really just the Shadow Blade hit, the Dark Pact, and the Pounce.
Yep, definitely. What's the pause, by the way, out? Like, you had a lag spike, they had a lag spike, so, I mean, I didn't notice anything, but maybe it's just my superior internet. I don't know what it is. Either way, we're back into the game. Nothing has changed. Axe is easily farming, Slark is easily farming, and of course we have a nice new roaming combination. Tossing that Lion on something, finger in the face, that would be quite interesting. There's a range creep who stacks the Ancients. I mean, they can't get the Ancients, but they could get the Io. The problem is there are too many people around here, and oh my god, they saw it, but the Lion hesitating, and there he doesn't get through. The RP completely whiffed. Oh no, it didn't go anywhere. Sure, Phoenix is gonna secure that retreat, maybe even getting that kill on the Skywrath Mage. No, 16 HP, he's still alive, but the Axe, he just came in, and that's pretty much it. The second Icarus dive just does the trick. To be honest, the initiation was horrible, but the outcome is still 2 kills, so who am I to complain?
Yeah, it was horrible for either side, really. The Lion just a little far away to get that Hex off. Phantom Assassin was able to react, and then Magnus comes in for an RP onto nothing. As the Tiny goes onto the back lines, they pick off 2 heroes, although they really would have loved to finish off that Excalibur kill. it's a 2-0, and you can't really say no to that, even if it does cost you a couple of ultimate cooldowns. And also, without that RP, Game Online are going to have a much harder time defending these towers. Io over in the sidelines gets obliterated by the Slark. There's nothing he can do. Milan was there for a little bit of moral support, but Goji had that one by himself.
The problem is that at the moment, nobody of Gamers Online is safe. Nobody. Literally nobody. But they have barely any escape mechanisms on their team by the heroes by default. It's just not working. We have a Shadow Plate to initiate. We have tossing someone in there. We have, I don't know, looking at that Lion's gold, soon a Blink Dagger as well. He's on 1k gold, depending on if he's put in a 5th position. No, he's on a 4th position in theory here. So he's going straight for that Blink Dagger. We have the Axe jumping in there, and of course Icarus Dive. They're so mobile at the moment on My Insanity that they can pretty much kill anyone within seconds. So let's see. Maybe this Juggernaut. Oh, there's the toss. There's the stun. Jesus, he didn't even need the help of his team. That was just enough as it is.
Yeah, set up by this Observer Ward. Really easy pickings for the My Insanity side, 3 to 15. They're just running circles around Game Online at this point, and a lot of it comes down to just the lanes from Game Online weren't able to get any momentum. Really, for the Juggernaut, the Slark is still hunting, and they're going to continue to do so for the rest of this game, really. They're going to bump into the Io and the Magnus, toss him up in the air, Avalanche lands onto 2. The Shadowblade Slark misses the pounce, but it doesn't matter. Solo RP is going to be purged off instantly. They'll look towards the sidelines. Pelican is currently with some Wisp Orbs out, but he's going to look for the TP. Will that succeed? The damage is going to be there. They'll toss up the Slark into the air, and he dies to the Dark Pact as the Slark flies. Phantom Assassin makes it out alive, but that's really a small consolation for Game Online. My Insanity have all of the momentum in the world.
15 minutes, and we are talking about 11, 12k lead and experience in goal. This is quite insane, I have to say. This is at the moment disaster for Gamers Online. I mean, their remedy is at the moment just dodging as much as possible and trying to find some farm. I mean, in theory, they have 2 very viable cores, but the problem is what they never expected is that at 15 minutes they are looking against, I don't know, going against such a crazy disadvantage, because at the moment they cannot fight, and we saw 2 RPs at the moment, and both of them were completely useless. One didn't hit anything, and the second one, well, it was a joke too, pretty much.
Yeah, purged off instantly. Shadowblade Slark goes on to the south. I apologize for missing that one. It was on the Io. He'll be able to get that assassination. Looks like he'll make it out alive as they chase forward with the Avalanche toss over onto the Scarlet Mage. He's going to be blown apart. Slark going to drop another purge just to clear up their creep wave, but every time these supports from Game Online show their face on the map, they're at an innate risk.
I don't really think that's the good idea here, what Gamers Online is doing, because at the moment it feels like there's some pacifist group, but maybe they're gonna go here on this axe. He's level 11, that would be a nice kill. There's the Omnislash, but look at his residual HP still. I mean, he's slowed. Sure, that's everything is coming out, but with the additional armor, that axe is still not going down. I can't even believe it. They're gonna pay dearly for a 2-for-1 trade here. That's definitely not worth it, but at the moment they go for that Phoenix. He's getting slowed down by the Tiny. Finally arrived to the party. He's tossing them on top of each other, and Slark is like, thank you. Kill secured. 2 hits, 2 kills.
That was supposed to be Game Online getting a clean pickup onto the Axe, but in the end it drops down to be a 3-for-3 trade, even though Phantom Assassin and Io, and in fact a decent chunk of gold is won by Game Online in that exchange. The Slark and Tiny are still as scary as ever. It was ridiculous how long that Axe survived. If he had an Ogre Club in his inventory, instead of having the Staff of Wizardry in the stash, he probably would have lived there, or at the very least gotten off the dunk. He couldn't wait long enough in order to get that Culling Blade off, but really just doing a lot. Io's been spotted out by a Dire Observer Ward. All he wants to do is D-Ward, but Tiny, blink, Avalanche, going to miss.
Ooh.
Good tether away by Pelican.
Nice timing there. That tether, that was pro. He expected someone already to come. I mean, he's D-Warding, so he knows he's sitting directly on vision, but Jesus Christ. The reason that Axe, by the way, survived in top is pretty simple. He's about 3 levels higher than the heroes that actually attacked him, and net worth, I don't even want to mention it. He's at the moment the second with all those fighting, and look at this huge gap between the X, who is second. There's 2k to the mid core of Gamers Online, and the Slark is completely in a different league. 9 people are playing Dota, he's playing League. That's pretty much what it is at the moment. 11,000 net worth. It's just insane.
Well, at the moment, we're going to have more pauses. I honestly have no idea what's going on with all of these pauses, but it would be nice if we could sort out this issue. Either way, even the Tiny is doing a lot of work for the team. What's he actually going for? Going to be a 4-staff. This is mostly just a utility initiation Tiny, but that's completely fine. Slark is doing more than enough physical right-click damage to make up for that fact, and he's going to have his full Scotty flying out very shortly.
That's the right thing. I mean, under normal circumstances, if the Slark wasn't so successful on his lane, I would have said, okay, Tiny, you need that Arcanum Scepter, etc., etc. But since the Slark is so fat at the moment, the Axe is so tanky, then that Tiny can really go for full utility that everything's working at the moment. I mean, Gamers Online, they try to reclaim at least their part of the map, but they don't really care. There's the GoL Milano with a double damage on that Skyrift Mage. Sure, he's getting silenced, getting a punch in, but he knows the entire team is following there. Blink Dagger on the X is ready. They're not gonna find anything, or do they? Phantom Assassin, he needs someone in range really fast to get Blink Strike out there. Well, he managed to, and I think they're safe for now at least. Good that they spotted it out.
Yeah, they also get that Ancient stack for Excalibur, so that's a win for Game Online as everybody survives and they get that extra gold for the Phantom Assassin, currently sitting on 2,700 on top of the Helm of the Dominator and just value stat items in the Aquila and Bracer. The Dire still have... What?
By the way, we were talking about the cleave and Battle Fury or not on the Phantom Assassin. Obviously, he didn't go for it. That was pretty much the call we made, but oh my god, that's Slark. He needs to find the IO, kill the IO first, and then that's it. But at the moment, he's trying to go for it. They're just gonna settle for the IO kill. It's like a short intermezzo. But to finish my thought, like the cleave is supposed to come from the Magnus, but at the moment they're just not close enough on the map. The fights they're scattered all over the place, so that Empower is not really coming through.
Yeah, they really need a good fight with an RP, and that's been lacking. With the Blink Dagger on the Magnus, it gets a lot easier, and even though they're really far ahead, my Insanity going for a high ground push is pretty risky when you're dealing with a mag on the enemy team, but looks like they're going to try to make their move. If they can get a, 2-3-man RP with the cleave coming out from Empower of a Phantom Assassin, that could be huge. Going to Blink, RP solo onto Lizard, pull him back, silence him up, he can't get off the Supernova, and it'll be a clean pick. Game Online,
Yeah.
At this point, they'll take whatever they can get.
Absolutely, that's exactly what I wanted to say. Like at this point, when you look at a 723 kill score, and of course on the graphs it still says 12k against you, then you take whatever you can get. Especially because that Magnus so far, it's the first RP that actually did something in this game. We are talking about 20 minutes game, and RP, this is the first one that actually led to a kill. All the others, they completely missed heroes or just did not do anything. And talking about RP, Gamers Online, they are definitely not Gamers Offline yet, because they know high ground defense, one good RP when mYi is just overextending a bit, some nice cleave on the PA, and everything could be turned around within 1 or 2 big fights.
Well, Goji is going to pull back after looking for some kills with his Shadow Blade because of the sentry coverage coming out from the Radiant. Blink away in bottom, the Axe is going to buy himself some space. The Juggernaut can't do much now, but the turnaround is potentially there. The Blink in, Avalanche is going to connect, toss, call, and Brosnak is going to be chopped down by Mitch's Blade. Goji going to go behind the tower, onto the IO. They're going to miss the Culling Blade because of the Magic Wand, but it doesn't seem to matter. 2 kills straight up for the mYi Insanity side.
I think that was reaction time by the Jugger. He tried to, I think he tried to cast, I'm not really sure, the healing ward or something. If he would have gotten directly Omnislash into those 2 targets, buying some time for the others to actually arrive there, they might have had a chance to turn this fight around. But this way, he gets killed. The IO, who originally wanted to help, and with only 2 seconds on the relocation timer, well, he dies as well, just as collateral damage. And this, of course, opens now the Rosh Pit to mYi Insanity with no chance whatsoever for Gamers Online to contest it. That's really the biggest problem.
Yeah, it really feels like at the moment for Game Online, it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. They're going to toss the Slark into the Roshan pit. But yeah, without having that RP up for that previous fight, there was really not much hope. Yeah, at the moment, Roshan is going to be taken out by the mYi Insanity side. Even though it's not the fastest Rosh, it's pretty reliable with the Scotty Slow being applied consistently, just having this many heroes in the pit. Game Online are in no situation to actually contest this. They're way too far away.
At the moment, that Tiny is just staying back, watching that Slark doing the Roshan. Everybody's even going out of that pit, just in case Gamers Online come, but at the moment, they're top, and that's, I don't know, I think mYi Insanity, they're too paranoid at the moment. Like, the time they lose at the moment on doing Roshan is... it's not really worth it. If they would have done an observer ward here, knowing where the enemy is, and do a Roshan fast, I think, like, on a gold craft, that might have been more effective, but who cares about efficiency at the moment? It's 725, you have a lead, so better safe than sorry.
Yeah, for sure, and right now Safe is going to get them a Scotty on the Slark and an Aghanim Scepter up for the Axe. Although Game Online aren't without their items as well, they now have a fresh BKB up for Excalibur, which is going to help, don't get me wrong. The fights are really a very precarious situation for Game Online. If they don't win them convincingly, they're going to lose structures after the fact. 2-2 tower in mid probably going to fall without much of a scuffle. It's already at half health.
Yep, definitely, and well, we have to see what they're doing right now. They are pretty much ready in mid to go for the tier 2 tower really systematically, but at the moment, of course, they might lose the other tier 2 tower at the same time while the Juggernaut is easily there to defend bottom. So I think that's a relatively good trade for Gamers Online, everything considered. But then again, I don't think my Insanity now equipped with the Aegis, they will stop here. This Aegis now gives them, of course, the opportunity to just go on the high ground. And if Gamers Online lose right now a high ground defense, then this game is really fast over.
Yeah, Slark going to be sitting on the front lines. We even have a Shadow Blade picked up by the Tiny. This is probably the most mobility you're going to see on a Tiny picked up ever. He's backed up.
The IO, look at the IO, he has no TP. So he has to actually walk back, but well, they can be happy that at this point they're not pushing high ground. If they knew that IO is stuck there pretty much, he could relocate in, but I'm not really sure if that's the duration of fight presence you want to have.
Well, if I'm Game Online, I know that Milan backed off for that. I'm pretty happy. Blink and RP catches out Mitch solo. They'll burst down the axe very quickly. And now with the Omni Slash flying through, Goji is going to be dropped low, but not low enough as they come in for a huge avalanche toss. Excalibur is down to about half HP, going to pop the BKB, but can he actually stick onto a target? He goes on to Goji. Goji still sitting on that Aegis, going to rip apart Zeroji. Almost gets that last attack off. He's going to survive on about 50 HP. Milan coming in hot, but won't be able to get that kill. Earn charge will be lethal onto the Scarth Mage unless he can get some form of healing. He's going to end up ticking down.
Oh, he just tethered to the PA. In the second he got that earn charge, if he would have tethered to the Scarth Mage, much better. But still, quite a interesting fight there by Gamers Online, but it's still not enough. Since the Aegis was there, they can at least do some crazy damage on that tier 3 tower. That's about, I don't know, 99%. Just needs 1 or 2 hits, 1 by Tiny, 2 by Slark. Let's see. It was not bad, but we have the Tiny now also with the Shadow Plate. To be honest, this Shadow Plate, I think that's killing it. That's really killing at the moment. I mean, that Tiny with a Blink Dagger and a Force Staff and now a Shadow Plate, they have to be careful. If Gamers Online come back, then you're stuck with relatively useless super utility item that will eventually leave you without the damage you need to finish a fight really fast.
For sure. We'll have to see if that ends up being an issue for them. Looks like mYi and Sandy want to regroup and continue this push through mid, this time around without an Aegis. But maybe they can actually get Mitch involved. The fight started very well for Game Online. If you can take away the axe instantly, you'll take that trade pretty much 9 times out of 10. 2-3 tower going to be chopped down by 2 hits from the Slark. Lord, the pounce is not going to connect onto the Phantom Assassin. She's back in the base. They'll put some chip damage, but that's not going to stick onto the melee barracks unless mYi and Sandy fully commit now, and it looks like they might. Game Online haven't found an opening. They're going to blink aggressively onto Goji. He'll be able to fall back and just re-heal up. At the moment, this is one of the great powers of Slark. He's just able to get on the backlines and heal up as if he has a heart.
Yep, definitely. And well, at the moment, my Insanity take it slow, but I think they really want to. Like, their fingers are itching, and now the Slark sees that there must be a sentry somewhere because the creeps were hitting him in the Shadow Plate. So, well, they just want to go slowly on that melee barracks. Gamers Online, they have to commit, and there's the RP, but again, the Skewer completely off. Definitely not the MVP of this game, and the Nova perfectly on place. They're not gonna get this. This is 1 down, 2 down. Like, even with that BKB, I don't think Phantom Assassin can really take that fight here. Where are the crits? Nope, they're not coming through. Slark, in the end, he will survive, and even the buyback on the PA, I'm not really sure if that can save the game. Magnus, this game is pretty much on him. That Skewer could have really made a difference, but it was completely off target.
I mean, to be fair, that fight probably wouldn't have gone much better for Game Online, even if they did get the Skewer back on the Goji, but it would have gone a lot better than it did. Yeah, in the end, just the RPs, the Magnus play, all things considered, hasn't been that impressive. For the most part, he's been walking in power, and that's usually alright if you have other heroes to make the plays and to start fights, but when you run a Phantom Assassin and Juggernaut as your other 2 cores, you just don't have that.
Yep, I mean, those RPs, they definitely need to come. If you use it on one target, and at least you need to hit the Skewer. The good thing is, oh, never mind that, they're actually going in. This is unexpected here, but if they get the PA down, then this is pretty much game. At the moment, so much damage. There's still nope, there's no thing available at this point, so PA, well, he can still go back. The Juggernaut, just not enough damage, but the Skewer directly next to them. Oh, I thought the dunk comes through, but no, it's just enough. The toss, however, Tiny will finish him off. Everybody's super low HP, but mYi and Sanity, they really feed a lot now into it. The problem is Slark still on decent HP and everything, but there is Lion coming in and probably finishing that Magnus off. Nope. no stick, no nothing on that Magnus, so he couldn't use it. A stick would have just made a huge difference in this fight. There is a buyback on the Skyaf Mage, and of course the Slark gotta be careful here. Oh, he still has a crazy cooldown on his Shadow Blade, and it's enough. The Godlike just being fed away. My Insanity. That's not the way you want to play it.
Short relocate forward. Pelican not able to catch out the last remaining member of My Insanity, but yeah, they're going to lose a lot of momentum with that last fight, even with 2 buybacks spent, one in the Skyrath, one in the Magnus, and the dieback on the Phantom Assassin. They still gain 12,000 experience in that fight, and the gold swing about 5k as well. It's a step in the right direction for them, especially considering that they didn't lose melee barracks and bomb.
Yeah,
this is not an easy game. But
it's
online,
still standing, yeah. So they didn't really achieve anything in My Insanity. Sure, you got some buybacks out and some kills and everything, but overextending there and not even focusing the melee racks and just going back, that's a very bold play. They have to be careful that this is not snapping back. I mean, Gamers Online, they start to make some good plays. This RP, or the Skewer, actually finally had an effect. It was pretty much the first in this game. Everything else was, well, suboptimal, but look at Milan. Oh, he wants an easy kill and he gets it. Just one more punch and yes, it looked like he was meters away already, but, well, the punch came through. Tiny's fist is never ending.
Yeah, I'll get that stretch kill onto the Skyrath Mage, as My Insanity for the time being are going to pull back. The Slark, even after finishing that MKB freshly for that fight, is up to another 2,000 gold, so even though that is a lot of momentum lost, the Slark is still leaps and bounds ahead of the Phantom Assassin, about 7,000 net worth ahead, which is really insurmountable in a man fight between them, unless Phantom Assassin gets the luckiest of bashes and crits, which at this point, she probably needs to rely on.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, like, that fight, I mean, sure, we have now that change in the graph and everything. It's like a 5-6k swing, at least that's how it looks on the graph. But the problem is that it was just with buybacks as a tool, which is something you never really want. If they had taken this fight without the buybacks, then we actually talk about a comeback. But right now, My Insanity, not all of them pretty much, I think, have their... No. Okay, now I'm surprised. None of them actually have their buybacks. Just a Tiny and the Slark at this point, so... Well, sure, they can still with this go for a push slowly and steadily on that melee barracks.
Yeah, and well, they're going to do just that. Goji's going to be on the front line, so clear up the creep wave, and then start chipping away at the barracks. He has a team behind him, most notably Mitch. Pulling forward by the Phantom Assassin as they go into the sidelines, catching out the Magnus. He's going to be brought down with the Coaling Blade. Avalanche toss going to connect on the Jug as well as Skyrath as the Omni Slash flies through. Milan going to be dropped low, but he'll be able to Shadow Blade out to safety as Roji's getting dived into his base. Even with about half HP, Mitch is still able to chop him down. The Yule Scepter onto the axe is going to delay a little bit. Force Staff away. Mitch is going to buy himself some space. Now calls up Excalibur. Locked down with the follow-up Earth Spike. Avalanche chopped down. It's a triple kill for Mitch. And now they look for Pelican. That's a full 5-man wipe as My Insanity take probably this game.
GG. That's the GG. To be honest, that PA, I really feel for him because he gets no stuns. He gets no crits. In the last fight, it would have made such a difference. Just 2 crits on the right target or a stun or anything, but well, nicely kited. They really kited that PA, outlasted the BKB, outlasted even the relocate, so everything was fine. Gamers Online, the problem is they didn't come online till very, very late where you suddenly saw the plays, and Magnus, I really think he is gonna hate himself because this game was definitely not his. Like, with a good RP, with good skewers or skewers following the RP, that game would have been different, or at least the high ground defense would have been way, way longer. But I guess he knows that himself. So, Gamers Online, night job 1. Go next.
Yeah, off to Moscow 5 versus London Conspiracy here on HeflaTV 1, up shortly.